but I know they'll never own me.
Hey guys, welcome to Bethel Young Adults. Today you guys will be watching an interview from me and Josh Lidicoat talking about community. I hope you guys enjoy it.
We're going to start our conversation on community. And one of the biggest things about community is like we have the opportunity to get plugged into small groups and different things like that. And so if you are interested in joining a small group or even like a Bible study group where like we study like topics together, just let me know by DM.
Look at that.
And oh, I can hear you, but I can't see you.
You can't see me.
Not yet. It says it's still connecting.
Okay.
Can you guys see him?
I can see myself.
Can you see me?
Yes.
Huh. Well, it says that Josh is here, but cool. So, Josh, welcome. It's good to see you, bro.
Thank you.
Dude, so like, tell me, like, why are you here today? Like, why? Huh?
Yeah. Sorry. What did you say? My like.
So tell me, like, why are you here today, bro?
Yeah. So, Jesus definitely like stirred and definitely put on my heart how important community is, especially right now, and what that kind of like practically looks like.
That's cool, man. I'm excited. So, did you just say like God's been putting community on your heart? Like, what is community to you? Like, what does that mean?
Yeah. So when I think of community, I feel like the Bible answers what it should be to me. And so I think about Acts chapter 2, verse 12 or verse 42 to 47. Mm-hmm. And so I'm going to read that to you guys. So Acts 2, 42 to 47, and they devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and fellowship, to the breaking of bread and the prayers, and awe came upon every soul, and many wonders and signs were being done through the apostles. And all who believed together were doing all things in common, and they were selling their possessions and belongings and distributing all proceeds to all, and any had need. And day by day, attending the temple together, they broke bread in their homes. They received their food in glad, generous hearts, praising God and having favor with the people. And the Lord added their numbers day by day who were saved. And so when I read that, I think of two things. I think what it practically looks like to be in community, and so what it means to me is community was meant to be in large groups, and small groups. And so, and one of the reasons I say that is because I don't necessarily think that we were just supposed to look in the back of each other's heads in rows, but I think another way Jesus wanted us to do community is in circles.
Yeah.
Being in smaller groups. And but other ways that when I read that passage that it speaks out to me what else it looked like is they broke bread, it was personally my favorite. And they heard teaching, they were praying, they were generous, they worshiped together. And I think one of the things that needs to like go in with all that is they did these things for the same reasons Jesus would do them. Does that make sense? Like when it comes to being in fellowship with our brothers and sisters and praying together and breaking bread, they didn't go there necessarily with this like, I'm coming and I want to see this person or I want to do this. And it's just like I'm gonna be in fellowship with my brothers and sisters that is centered around Christ, and we're going to see what happens. And I think because of that, Jesus just blesses it. And if you guys get the opportunity to read Acts in general, Acts chapter 2 especially, just to watch how Jesus just honors their sacrifice and just what they do about like, I'm going to come and I'm just going to worship, Lord. And we're just going to see what you do. And he comes and he does cool things, you know?
So why is like this kind of community important, or especially important to you and to all of us?
Yeah. One of the reasons why I think community is so important is, I think I wrote this down here. Church working properly will give you a tangible encounter of how it feels to be loved by Jesus. And so when we are doing, when we're loving and coming to these gatherings for the same reasons Jesus wants us to, I think it's crazy. The people that come just feel so incredibly loved, like they were being loved by Jesus. And I think but it's messy, but it's also rich and beautiful. Like there's just so much life to have in doing that. And I think even a verse that I was kind of thinking about today when I was writing this was Hebrews 10:24, 10:24-25. Let us think of ways to motivate one another in acts of love and good works. And let us not neglect our meetings together, as some people do, but encounter one another, especially now that the day of his return is drawing near. And so I'm just like, Jesus is just like, don't neglect your time of meeting and being in community together. And I think it's so important because I think about it sometimes, like there's been moments in my life where I've just like had these extreme highs and like these extreme lows, like all in a day, like in one day, just like on fire. And then the next moment just super discouraged and not wanting like any, like just sin looking so much more tasteful than praising Jesus. And I think a huge reason because of that is due to community. Keeping, like having community to keep us firmly grounded. And so ever since I did, I decided that community just needs to be important to me, that I need to go to this, that I just have, it's like, it's been a consistent like elevation of staying high, you know, just like being in community with Jesus and being in community with people that bring, you know, stir my affections and bring me closer to Jesus.
Yeah. So that's really good, Josh. How is like this time of being in like quarantine and like having like this distance from like normal, what we say is like normal community, affected you?
Yeah, it was, I'd say since I heard about the lockdown, really kind of saw what it looked or came to terms of following it, the first 3 days were really hard. I was just like, what am I going to do? Like, what does this look like? All sorts of things like that. And, but what I decided to do is like, okay, I need to be proactive in this. And so I downloaded Marco Polo. I got a hold of my friends and I was like, guys, like, we need to do the best we can do to stay in community. And like, it's silly. And like you were saying a few days ago, we were talking about this, but this little app, Marco Polo, just like changes the game. Like it's like one of the things I love doing with some of the guys is like story time. So today at work, this, you know, just all these like fun things and just enjoying it, but also being like, hey guys, like just pray for me and just keeping them involved in our day-to-day life. Has just like brought that like firm grounding again, where it's just like I am still in community. Like I'm not able to like see them and be as relational as I'd like to be, but they're still here for me. I'm still with them, and we're still definitely very involved in each other's days.
Yeah, man. I think that's a really cool example of like something that we can do tangibly in this time to like connect with people. Because like Marco Polo, for those of you guys that don't know, is like this video app where you send like videos back and forth, and it's just like super fun. But Josh, what are some like other tangible things that we could do during this time to just like connect and to be there for each other? Because like we are kind of still in lockdown and we should be staying home. But how can we like foster this community that we've been establishing is very important here, tangibly?
Yeah. I think one of them that removes like the phone and social media from like the equation for a moment is when I am passionately praying for my brothers and sisters, it's really difficult for me not to want to be involved in their life. Like it's really difficult for me not to like text them and be like, bro, like what's going on? Like just let you know I'm praying for you, man. And like I wanna see if these prayers are like coming alive in you. Like how's your day going? And so I think it's a great way to like kind of intertwine those relationships without them necessarily like being there. And one of the ways I found that is just, like I said, just passionately praying for my brothers and sisters. Like they're just on my heart, and I find myself thinking about them later on. Like, man, I hope they're doing good, because like, you know, it's just it's so cool, and it's
really good.
It's cool. That's good stuff.
Yeah, man, that's a really good point. Like prayer really does knit us together. And guys, I want to encourage you that as you pray for people, it really will knit you to that, and it really does make a difference. But yeah, Josh, anything else that, like, what are some other things that we could do practically during this time of lockdown, just to like care for people, to connect with people, and live in the kind of community that the Acts church lived in? Because
Yeah.
they were doing crazy things like selling their possessions for each other, and like really like saying that community is love, community is sacrifice. What are some things that we can continue to do?
Yeah, I mean, I think of one way that like I've been trying to do more, but it's like care packages. Like I think it's so silly, but like the fact of going to Walmart really quick and spending like, I don't know, $10 on a couple like cool little treats, and like, hey bro, like I just dropped this off at your house, you know, check it out. It's just like this like dang, you know, like this person put aside and did this for me. Like they care, you know. And so that's another way. It's kind of difficult because how Acts did it, they were firmly like super deep in just the relationships, like deeply pursuing relationships and making relationships like that. And it's kind of difficult now, but those are one of the more like proactive ways and like practical ways that I've been trying to do that here. So it's just Marco Polo and FaceTime and texting my friends. And something I actually want to urge you guys of that I was really thinking about this morning, because I had a couple of buddies where I was just like, yo, like I've been talking to them for a little bit and they haven't reached out to me. And then like later on when I was on Instagram, someone's like, now you know who your real friends are, kind of stuff. And I was just thinking, I was like, that is so weird. And so I reached out to one of my buddies that's been on my heart recently. And his response is, bro, I've been in so much depression lately that I've had the hardest time reaching out and talking to anybody. And so I want to just put that on your guys' minds, challenge your thinking for the people that you're really good friends with. And recently, since this coronavirus has thrown everyone off of their kind of groove, that like maybe they're not talking to you because they're like don't like you or anything, but they're not talking because they can barely talk to themselves. Like they're really wrestling and struggling. And I think at some point the enemy has just overwhelmed their hearts and minds and convinced them that being isolated and not reaching out to their friends is what's best for them to do. So I encourage you and challenge you guys. Because this is what I've been trying to do, is reach out to those people and make sure they are okay, because this is really hard stuff, especially if you don't have a community that loves you and cares for you.
Man, that's such a good point. Like, I think we should all just like marinate on that point, that like there are hurting people out there, and like reaching out to people, it not only like makes us feel more connected, but it may be like a lifesaver, like a literal lifesaver for someone else. And so don't disvalue the power of community. Don't disvalue the power of like FaceTime or Marco Polo. Like those are the ways we connect with people. And so I would like we both are saying, we really encourage you guys to just continue reaching out and using these platforms and praying for people. Prayer works. Like I can't say that enough. But man. So we've been talking about like community outside of our home. What about like for community like inside our home? Like, do you have any advice on like kind of like loving on our family and connecting with our family?
Yeah, dude. You know what's crazy is actually a few days ago, I was like, Lord, how can I like love my family? Like I have a hard time doing the things that they want to do. And so something I was really thinking about is like, man, like what's more important, doing what I want to do or being with and having like a relationship with my family? I was like, you know what, I'm going to meet them where they're at. Like I may not necessarily love to do what they love to do, but I love them enough and I want a relationship with them enough that I'm willing to meet them where they're at and do what they want to do. And I want to encourage you, because when you guys do that, when you guys are like sad, like just like, I don't, you know, it's okay. Like I don't necessarily love to do this. Like you won't find me doing this in my free time, but I love my family and want a relationship with them enough. I'm gonna do what they would like to do. And in that, you're gonna build this relationship, and it won't be like this. I constantly need to like meet them where they're at now, but they're just like, what do you want to do? Like, let's do something, you know. And so that's something that I've learned to do, and it's helped me out so much. When I'm just like, man, I'm gonna just meet you where you're at, and I don't care what. I'm just gonna have fun with you and love you, and in that, you just foster this amazing relationship of just your selfless act to love your family.
Wow, that's good. And that reminds me of like Hannah's story that she shared at the beginning of this, of just like that, the mentality of like, I'm here to like love and be loved by my family, and how
Yeah.
important that is. Like during this time, like we're not trapped with our family. We get to have this family bond. Like I've been driving
Yep.
around and like seeing like families going on family walks and like spending this intentional time, and all these people back from college spending all this time with their family, and how much of a beautiful thing that is that we get to do that. Like we get to like spend time with those people around us.
Yeah.
But man, thank you so much for coming on and talking to us. Do you have any like final like words or challenges before we open it up for a question and answer portion?
Yeah. So I think this is just just a challenge that I've been challenging my friends with. But just read a verse for those here that just don't really read and that aren't like super like think that reading the Bible will help. Just read a verse or read a chapter, read something, and just pray. Pray for your friends, pray for people. Just go like enter this time of prayer with no agenda. And just allow the Lord just to reveal and work on your heart as you do this.
Yeah.
It's been so fruitful for me, and I think it'll be amazing for you guys too.
That's good. Man, I would also like to push everybody here to like actually reach out, like actually get FaceTime, actually get Marco Polo, actually get Zoom, and like call your friends, to message your friends. The friend that hasn't been messaging you, maybe they're going through something. You should probably reach out to them. There's a lot of hurt, there's a lot of depression, and there's a lot of loneliness in this time. And so I would really encourage you guys to really act, because like we see in Acts community is vital to our lifeblood. Community is vital to our happiness, and community is vital. And we still have it. Like just because it's online doesn't mean it's gone. We still can connect. So I thank you, Josh, for bringing us this. This was Josh's idea to come on here and talk about community, and it's such a big topic, such an important topic.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. It was so awesome to have you here and be sharing with us in this conversation on community. I hope that you guys tune in each Thursday as we go live on Instagram Live, and then we post them here on YouTube. Love you guys. Hope to see you soon. See you later.